Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, share. Everything you do does help the channel. And if you want to help out a little more, you can head over to my Patreon, try to get yourself a mug or a sticker. There will be a link in the description. Alright everyone, so here is my top 5 rare space exploration videos, and I wanted to do a little bit different, and I'm going to do my honorable mentions first. So this first one here is from the Gemini project. It's a 1966 Slim. The Gemini is the third constellation of the Zodiac, but for NASA it is a two-man spacecraft mission. They had 12 missions from 1961 to 1966, and the Zippo is pretty rare and hard to find, and that's why it made the list. It didn't make it to the top 5, but it is an honorable mention for a reason. This is a rare Zippo to find. So this one here is a Lockheed Missiles and Space Company Zippo. This one's actually pretty rare to find too. Definitely deserves a spot on the honorable mentions. And they had a major contract with NASA. They were pioneers in the industry, and this is a 1963 Slim. Now this Zippo here needs no introduction. Everyone knows Nikon by now. They were used on the moon landing too, those cameras. This is actually a 1980 Zippo, so I don't know why they didn't have one earlier, but this is printed on both sides of this Zippo. It's pretty rare, and it's a pretty cool piece of history too. Definitely deserved an honorable mention. Alright, so with the honorable mentions out of the way, we are now going to start the list, and here's coming in number 5. So this one we're looking at here is the Grumman Aircraft Engineering Corporation. This is a 1966 Slim. What happened was they signed a contract with NASA in 1962 to design the lunar module, which is obviously on the front of the Zippo. And it was the same lunar module that eventually got used to land on the moon in 1969. So this Zippo holds its spot on the list high. It's a very big piece of history, and if you're looking to buy this Zippo, good luck. They don't come up very often, and it's probably going to run you anywhere between $300 to $500. I can easily see it, especially for the space collectors. This is a big ticket item and hard to come by. Really nice Zippo, really good piece of history right here, and if you ever see one, send me an email. This probably would have only been given out at the company and to people directly linked with it, so it's definitely rare for that reason too, because there wouldn't have been that many made. So it's definitely something to keep your eyes peeled for and always looking for. Number 4 is going to be a very similar big company with a NASA contract, but a very cool Zippo. So this is a very cool Zippo. It is the General Electric Missile and Space Vehicle Department. And what really stands out about this Zippo is it happens to be a 1958 Slim, and that is the same year that NASA and the Mercury project were created. General Electric also played a major role in re-entry vehicles. They were space vehicles that would come back in from orbit and land in the ocean. There's a lot of Zippos that are dedicated to re-entry vehicles. I'm going to be making a separate video on those space re-entry vehicle Zippos. But for this one here, you're going to expect it to go for a pretty high price. This Zippo was only given out to staff and things like that. It wasn't really available, sold to the public. You could probably go to the building and buy one, and like at certain space events they would have, you could probably buy them for a short period of time. But this Zippo, expect to pay the same thing, $500. I would not be surprised to the right buyer that this Zippo, you'd pay $1,000 for it. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. But my price range, I'd put it at a really even $300 to $500. Number 3 is a Zippo you're probably never going to be able to buy, find, or see, but a very cool Zippo. That's why I made the list. Alright, so coming in at number 3 is an extremely rare prototype. It is a full-size regular Zippo. The last few have been Slims. And it's a 1965, and this is the Apollo project, which eventually did lead to the moon landing, was the Apollo project. And like I said, this only being a prototype Zippo, it's going to be very hard to find and come by. There's probably only a few. It's never really known how many. This was something that was never made or given out, so definitely very rare. To put a price on it, I don't know. These prototype Zippos and staff-only Zippos, they go for a very high price. This could easily fetch the same thing. I could see it going for $300 to $500, and maybe even more to the right buyer, just because of the rarity of this Zippo. It's very hard to come by. If you're a Zippo collector that specifies in Cape Kennedy, Florida, Apollo project, moon missions, this is going to be a holy grail Zippo. Number two is rare with remake, so I'm going to have versions of all of it so we all know which one the rare one is. So to avoid any confusion, I'm going to show you the rare one first. Here is an image of the rare one. It shows all the boys who landed on the moon, and it is a very nice picture, well done, painted picture. This is the only one you're going to see like this, and that's what makes it rare. This is very hard to do, especially to do the face likeliness back then in 1969 when the Zippo was made. And this is the Apollo 11 commemorative Zippo for when they landed on the moon on July 20th, 1969. And there is other different versions and remakes of this Zippo, so you have to be on the lookout. This is the rare one that is hard to get. It's probably not as rare as some of the other Zippos I did put on the list, but because these are the men who landed on the moon, I have to have their Zippo at the top. It just wouldn't make sense because these are the guys, right? These are the first. So this Zippo 2 is probably going to run you $500, could be up to $1,000. A lot of these Zippos are in the same price range because of the market and the collectability they have. Now, the Zippo you are seeing here also came out in 1969, but this was the common one sold to the public. This is still going to run you a few $100s, but the one I showed before is going to run you a hell of a lot more. This also got a remake in 1984 with a little more color attitude. I don't have a photo. So this is the third Apollo 11 commemorative Zippo to come out in 1969. This is also a very common one. It was sold heavily to the public. A lot of people did buy this Zippo. It's still going to run you a couple $100, but it's not going to run you as much money as the full color painted 1969 I showed at the beginning of the video. And this one here is a 1986 remake, the same image, but just a little color added, a little red and a little blue. And it's also probably only going to run you around $100, also a very common one also. I just wanted to show all the different variations of the 1969 ones and what to look for. Not only is number one rare, it also has a prototype attached to it, and it looks pretty sweet, and there's a lot of different variations of this lighter. So I just want to start off with showing the rare one first to avoid any confusion. This is the rare one. It will say that's one small step for a man and one giant leap for mankind. 10:50 p.m. EDT, and it shows the image down below of the moon landing. This is the rare one. This is the hard one to get. This is the one that's going to run you a good penny. This is the one that there was not very many made of. It's hard to come by, hard to find. But now there are also a bunch of different versions of this Zippo you got to be on the lookout for and not to get confused with. But before I show you those, I want to show you the even rarer prototype tape measure. This tape measure is very hard to come by, prototype only, very few made. Also comes along with that Zippo in the rare category, hard to come by. I thought I had to add it in, and that's why this made my number one, because all the different things that came with this. So now what you're seeing here is also came out in 1969, but not the rare version. This is the Apollo 11 commemorative moon landing version, and there was also a slim that came out at this time. So if you get the regular classic or the slim and they only have the picture on there and they do not have the inscription with the quote, then they are not the rare ones. So that tape measure will probably run you a few $100s, could even run you more, I'm not really sure because it's a prototype. And the Zippo with the quote engraved on the lid is going to run you same thing, could be anywhere between $500 to $1,000, just like a lot of these Zippos are, because they all came out around the same time. They're all about the same amount of collectability. They all have about the same amount of people that want to collect them. So they generate a lot around the same prices. Hope you enjoyed the video. Comment down below which one you like the most.